the first ever episode, the podcast called The Alchemy of Us, along with the beautiful Tabitha Harris. I'm Osric Baum. We are your hosts, and welcome to our first show. Tabitha, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Definitely had a good, restful night. Last night was the new moon, but yeah, I'm doing great. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. It is very exciting as we have been talking and discussing about the show leading up to it. I'm really excited about what we have for our listeners. Now, when we talk about the alchemy of us, what does that mean to you, Tabitha?
Well, to me personally, what it means is everything in life that we do has a consequence or impacts all of humanity, good or bad. And it means that we are being very conscious about how we move throughout life. And the more we learn ourselves and understand ourselves better, we can move ourselves in a way that's a better impact for everyone just in general. And that's
Hmm.
what I believe. Mind, body, and soul, everything we do is spiritually connected. Everything. Everything.
And I'm in total agreement, which is the reason why we put this show together because we want to educate, enlighten, and empower you to understand that there is more than what it seems to life. And there are people
Absolutely.
that know that.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. And I think that as time goes on and we each sit back and reevaluate ourselves of different things that we've done in our lifetime and see where we're
Hmm.
at now, it really helps you to really focus on what direction you really want to go in. Because we can continue to do things unconsciously, but it's much wiser if we're really intentional about what we do.
Hmm. That it is. So, two things that we discussed off camera that is vital to the information is spirituality and relationships.
Hmm.
I think that's what you and I had narrowed it down to that is essential to really being able to understand how we are all connected
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I say, when you look at your relationships just with people in general, we have to really delve into sometimes the whys of why we do certain things. And that comes just with us learning just about ourselves, because honestly, in this lifetime, we must learn who we are. And the relationships that we foster with other people is really honestly what we allow as individuals.
Hmm.
And I think within humanity in itself, we sometimes get into these spaces where we think that people are just supposed to be forever with us. No, that
Hmm.
saying is true where people are with us for a reason, a season, and a lifetime.
Right.
And by us learning who we are and why certain people have come into our lives or why we've experienced certain things, that can help us honestly to move with more forethought.
That's an excellent point. It's an excellent point because part of the battle is knowing and understanding. First, you
Mhm.
got to know. I mean, you first have to know.
Right.
And so, how we came along. So, we're going to just expose ourselves to the listeners, because we don't have PhDs. We're not a part of the clergy. So what we will be discussing when it comes to spirituality or relationships, for that matter, we are not, as one would say, are educated traditionally. It is through it's through our experiences and our own understandings and thoughts when it comes to those two different things, spirituality and relationships.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to kind of lead you down this path, Tabitha.
Mhm.
I'm going to say that we are
Mhm.
spiritual beings in physical form. Now that's what my belief is.
Mhm. I
The
agree.
counter,
I agree with it.
okay, and I know you do. I know you do. Because the counter is that we're physical beings that just has a soul in us. So why do you think that we're spiritual beings in physical form?
I believe that everything within us is here for a reason. I believe that we have been placed here in this realm just to really honestly just learn who we are. I believe this time that we're in when we come
Hmm.
here is just one of a training ground. I believe there we are eternal. We never die. Yeah, we
Hmm.
experience certain aspects of certain realms, but I believe that we are here eternally. Our energy never dies, it's always recycled in some type of way. And I believe there are timelines of us in other realms as well, which is
Hmm.
why a lot of times when we're experiencing certain things, we're like in this aha moment like, wait a minute, this feels familiar.
What do they call it? Deja vu? Is that what they
Uh-huh.
call
Yep.
that?
People call it deja vu. I think we, like I
Hmm.
said, I believe there are other realms of us. But I believe that the way the creator is that it's so multifaceted that when we come into different timelines, we're just in that timeline. And I also
Hmm.
believe that, yes, we all have to rest at night because we got to recharge. But I also
Right.
believe that when we rest, we're resting eternally back into the creator and just come back and wake back up. I believe that.
Mm. Now, no, and we talked about that. So, and I had a thought that what if our dreams are not really dreams?
Right.
What
Yeah.
if our dreams are actually something that is happening in
Hmm.
real time wherever
Hmm.
we're at? Wherever we're at.
Wherever we're at the time.
It's just that physically, our physical body that is here on this
Hmm.
earth
Right.
is resting, but our spirit, as you said, connects back with the higher consciousness, and then we could be doing something else, and that's where our dreams come from.
You know what it reminds me of? The movie The Matrix.
Mm.
Remember how when Neo would plug into the Matrix and he would be
Mm-hmm.
in other areas or other realms? I believe that's what we
Right.
do every night. I believe that's what we do. Which is why
Yeah.
when we come back, we can remember certain things, why we feel certain things even in our sleep. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
is true for us. As I get older, and in my understanding of just delving into more information and even looking at other people's experiences of
Mm-hmm.
how they're like, no, I've been in other realms, I've been in other dimensions, I've felt this, I've seen things. Even like, just say for instance, when you have those who they go into surgery and how literally they're like, wait a minute, I watched the doctor do his work on me.
Right.
That's real. That's why I say when people think that we're not spiritual beings, no, there's greater things, and we have to start looking outside the box, because why? The
Hmm.
creator wants that. He doesn't want us to be ignorant to the capabilities of who we are. We're more powerful than we realize.
Absolutely, because we think that, and when I say we, I'm not saying you and I, obviously.
Hmm.
When we, though, as a people, think that we are physical beings with something inside, then the physical is what is more important. So, what I mean by that simply is because we view ourselves as physical beings first,
Hmm.
or only as physical beings, then we can only grasp and understand anything that involves the five senses, right?
Hmm.
Because we look at it as being a physical being. The example I would give would be it's just the same as if you had a car. So
Hmm.
I believe that this physical form is just a vehicle, just a vehicle for our spirit to
Maneuver.
experience
Hmm.
what we are experiencing, because we have a purpose for why we're here. And in the beginning, we're to experience this life in a physical form. Okay. No different than if you have a car, that car is a
Hmm.
vehicle,
Right.
right? So the car doesn't make you,
Mm-mm.
although you have to do all the necessary things to take care of the car, just like we have to do all the necessary
Yep.
things to take care of our body, which
Maintenance.
is the which is probably the most highly advanced machine that has ever been known to man. I mean, it's a bio
Hmm.
electrical mechanical machine. That's just how I
Hmm.
look at it.
Hmm.
Okay, going back to, you have a car. The car does not make you,
Hmm.
yet that is how we view our physical body, is that that makes us, when in actuality we're a spiritual being in physical form. And
Right.
so to me, as you pointed out, our power, if you look at it and say that you are a spiritual being, then you must understand that, or you must realize, I'm not sure you understand, you must realize that that being a spiritual being means that thought and
Hmm.
how things are created is going to be purely by thought, because we are all connected to the higher consciousness. You can call it God, Yahweh,
Source.
whatever.
Hmm.
Yes,
Whatever you
whatever
want
you want to call
to
it,
call it. Universe. Whatever you want.
we're all connected to it because we all came from it.
Source. Yep. Hmm. And as I was telling you just the other day, I said that everything we do is connected to that, from the food we eat, from our thoughts, from the patterns of our actions, how we treat our body, all is connected. Everything is something spiritually connected. And it's funny because on my journey, I started to test a lot of that with what are the foods that power me versus those that make me not feel good,
Mm,
versus what are the things in my thoughts that create certain things that make me have fears. People don't realize a lot of the things you experience is based off of what you're doing. And it's
hmm.
up to you to take your power back in this chaos and realize that you have more power than you really. No, there's nobody that can stop that but you. This is a
Absolutely.
you thing. So You have to figure out, how do I become the master of who I am in a world that's full of chaos and conflict, and become center and one with me and the creator. And that takes you as an individual saying, you know what? I'm gonna make a choice to sit with myself and to connect back to the highest source that I have. Because that
Mm,
highest source is gonna align you. You could tell when people are out of alignment. You can tell.
r- right. Now, what you are saying sounds easy, but what do you think is the most difficult thing for people to do to be able to first even understand what you're saying? If I've been asking the question
Mhm.
right.
I think one of the biggest things is people in general are usually in a space of thinking, oh, I have to follow what the programming is of society. That's number one.
Okay.
They also will utilize sometimes, oh, other people, family members. It'll cause disruption there. Change is
Mm-hmm.
hard for people. People don't want to change because either one, it's their fear of being shunned by
Yeah.
family, friends, society, or it's because sometimes they're just stagnant. They're stuck in the same pattern of behavior and they don't know how sometimes to move themselves forward. But it seems like when you do make, sometimes when people do make a change, it's at the break of they're tired and they're exhausted
Mm-hmm.
from doing the same things, which then prompts them to say, you know what, I don't care. I'm exhausted from having to do the same things. But we don't have to get ourselves to that stance. We have to become really honestly like how children are. They're so free, they're creative, they test things. It's a learning process. So, as adults, especially us as adults, we have to realize we can't lose our creativity from when we were children and being free. We are free, period. We're not here
Mm-hmm.
to follow what everybody else does. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to live the best, most purposeful life that we are meant to live, whether people like it or not.
Absolutely. And everything you said is absolutely correct as far as how I look at it, which is one reason why we have gotten to know each other well, or rather, getting to know one another because we have the same thought process and view things in a similar manner. Now, here's the question:
Mhm.
How how do you convince someone who feels like God is here and not here?
Mhm.
How do you get someone to understand that God is not away from you, but is a part of you?
Well, honestly, I I'm always of the one person of the persona that I'm not going to convince you of anything. That's number one.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not going to persuade you. But what I do is I like to share just information with people because I'm
Okay.
saying to myself, especially for those who say they believe in a higher source and all of that. My thing is, okay, you believe in a higher source. You believe you are of creation. You know you are a creator.
Mm-hmm.
You are a creator, whether you can have children or not. You're a creator. We create our
Mm-hmm.
lives in all different many facets, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's through children, creating the life that we love and want. We are all that. And so my thing is this, if you believe in that higher source, why would you not believe that you are a piece of that? You're just a piece experiencing this life in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And that creator of who you are should actually, hello, light bulb. light bulb moment, meaning, you know what? I can create the life that I want. And that comes with mindset change because unfortunately, like I told you before, I used to be in that mindset where I was always in that negative space of where I
Hmm.
always thought people were doing, oh, this is being taken from me. And oh, I was in that negative space.
Right.
People don't realize that we are energy and frequency and vibration. And everything we think comes to our reality. And I realized that now, as once I became like in my 40s, that's when I really started to realize I had to change that forethought and knowing that the creator is not here to stop me from anything. The creator wants me to have a good life. The creator
Hmm.
wants me to realize that, listen, there's no good and bad in life. It's just lessons. That's it.
That's it.
It's just lessons. There's no good and bad. There's no one that's going to come to save me. I have
Hmm.
to do the work to in order to live a better life and to find my purpose. And that took me changing my thoughts and knowing that I deserve better. And when you know you deserve better, you start doing better. You start looking for information. But also, people today want everything easy,
Hmm.
and easy is not gonna create endurance.
Hmm.
It's not going to help you to move forward in your life the way you need to. So you got to have a little bit of friction there, or ebb and, like I like to say, ebb and flow,
Right.
because sometimes life is like this, and you have the ups and downs. That's just
That's
like
just part of it.
a part of life.
Hmm.
But everything doesn't have to be so dramatic all the time. And I think that's what we tend to do. We get into these stances of where it's like as soon as something negative we think is negative hits us, it's like, oh my God, why me? Why me? No, don't say why me. Try to look at it as, okay, there's a reason why this came into my path.
Right.
And do I need to fall apart? No, sometimes you just need to be still and just look at it and see, how do I want this to go?
Hmm.
And what is
Because
the
you have
outcome that you want?
right. Because you have a choice,
Right.
and that's what people fail to understand, that they have a choice. And
You do.
I would say that if something that we deem negative crosses your path or comes in front of your path,
Hmm.
yes, it's going to be on how you look at it. But I also think
Hmm.
it's there because of decisions that you made prior.
For every action, there's a reaction.
Hmm. So even when we are praying about woe is me and why does this happen to me, well, really, as you stated in the beginning of when you were answering the question,
Hmm.
you create your own reality,
You sure do. Good or bad.
good or bad.
Mhm.
You're creating it.
What it is people don't like the bad that comes in, the things they deem as bad. But sometimes the things we deem as bad are not bad. It's just, okay, what did I learn from this? How can I do this better or different? Just look at it and just take and tweak it. Just
Right.
like you say, when people go into like businesses, they fail quite a few times before they get the recipe right. There's no good and
Ex-
bad to that. It's learning.
Exactly. So you don't quit. You don't quit after the first attempt or the second or the third. You keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying. I was terrible at baseball. Terrible.
Hmm. Hmm.
What I realized though was that in baseball, that is the only sport where you are actually rewarded for failing.
Hmm. Really? How so?
Uh, okay, a batting average above 300
Mm-hmm.
is deemed to be a someone who is a superior hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because they're batting over 300.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 3 hits out of 10 attempts.
Mm. Okay.
So 7 times they either struck out or they may have made contact, but they didn't get on base. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a 300 average in baseball would make you probably a multimillionaire. And even someone who is in the 200s, because here's another point.
Uh-huh.
I think the average batting average in the major leagues right now, and I didn't research this, so somebody can fact check me, but I'm gonna say it's somewhere in the round of 230. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
a batting average of 230, which means that we're talking about, I'm going to go with 8. So that means that out of 10 chances to hit a ball,
Mm-hmm.
they only successfully hit the ball twice and get on base. So just think about that now. Just think about that. If you're in school
Mm-hmm.
and you had 10 questions and you only got 2 right, well, you failed, right?
Yeah, true.
Right? Because
That's yeah, that's failure.
that's failure. Yet in baseball,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably one of the elite players just in society because out of 10 attempts you can hit the ball twice, maybe 3 times. Okay,
Wow.
so what I bring that point up to use is that
Mm-hmm.
that's how we are here in life. That it's, as you said, it's not a a cut and dry. I failed. It's more of learning lessons. What did I take away from what this experience that maybe that I deemed to be negative? What did I get out of that experience? What did I learn from that experience?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the front end, what decisions can I make the next time to not have the same type of negative experience? Because
Right.
your decisions control where you're going. So wherever you are right now, wherever you're at right now, it is the culmination of the decisions that you have made in the past.
Mhm. I agree with that because even like I told you before, I used to be overweight. I was at my highest weight. I was 260 pounds, and I was like that with health and fitness. And in my life, I knew I needed to make a change. I hated diets, and I for surely did not like to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I used to, as soon as like I would start a dietary plan and then work out, oh my goodness, as soon as like the little uncomfortableness of like, you know, from working out, you get, the fatigue, you get the
Right.
pain and stuff from your muscles working
Mm-hmm.
because why? You haven't been doing work. You haven't been doing work, period. But when you start doing some work, your body start feeling some things. And I'll
Exactly.
never forget, I used to cry because I did not like working out. I was like, I don't want to work out, but I wanted to be smaller. I wanted to be healthier. But what I learned through that was I would, after a couple of days of working out, I would be like, I'm done with this. But what
Mm.
happened was life happened to where I
Mm-hmm.
needed to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I had a brother that was 37 that died of heart disease in his sleep. My
Mm.
mother, I looked at my mother's example of her being overweight and kneeling down, looking at some pictures, ended up ripping her rotator cuff, had to have surgery for that. And then I had my first grandchild born. And that was the perfect recipe for me to say, you know what? I want to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having what bariatric surgery, which is a vertical gastric sleeve, because I also have Graves' disease,
Okay.
which through Graves' disease, it working with my doctor, we were trying different methods of me with nutrition, exercise, and it just wasn't working. And I needed some type of a tool to help me. And so I had that procedure to help me. But through those experiences and learning some things, I was able to really make a conscious decision that I don't want to live my life like this. I wanted to live to see my grandchildren, even my great,
Mm-hmm.
great, great grandchildren. So I
Mm-hmm.
made that decision, and I started to, as I went through that bariatric surgery and I really got focused and intentional about how it was going to change my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that was the biggest and best decision I ever made for myself, because through the physical working out piece and then
Mm-hmm.
making better decisions with food, totally changed my life.
And that
Totally
is
changed my life because
that's
I've
a great
lost,
testimony.
yeah, and I lost close to 100 pounds and have kept that off for close to 11 years now. So I'm grateful for that, because now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, listen, I'll be 51 in October. So now I'm just like, well, now I want to make some other changes with my body. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that's going to require me to mentally prepare myself to make those shifts, because I'm like, now I want to really lose some body fat and gain more like muscle. So
Right.
people don't realize, if you really start to intentionally move yourself and not give up, because we're all going to go through cycles to where, you get into those lazy stances to where you're like, listen, I'm tired. No, it's called balance. You
Mm-hmm.
got to balance out your life. So just listen. And like, I read this book, as a matter of fact, which is a good book that I'm also going to share on here, by Darren Hardy, called The Compound Effect, where he
Oh
says
yeah.
little deposits that you make add up to big wins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing in life. That's what I started to do with through fitness and exercise, just doing little things. If you just not give up and keep going through it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll on the other end up with the results you want.
You're exactly right, and I've read that book, The Compound Effect.
I
It's
love
on my
it.
Audible playlist,
Mine's too. I go
and
back and read it every now and then too.
because you're right, and it is a great example of how, if you just do one thing every day that moves you towards whatever goal that you have,
Hmm.
you will find that it will compound, because not only will you move, let's say we do 30 days. Not only will after 30 days you have gotten closer to the goal, but what it does to you mentally,
Hmm.
because now you really can see some progress, even though it was one step at a time, because that's the only way we can do anything, is to go one step
Yep.
at a time, at a time,
Hmm. Day by
even when
day.
you're running. Exactly. It's so, but as you said, you have to be intentional. You have to move with a purpose.
Hmm. I'm telling you, it makes sense to just, when whatever it is that people want to change, it's up to you to decide what and when you're going to do it and how you're going to do it. Nobody could tell you it's right or wrong how you go about your journey. Nobody can tell you that. We all live different lives. Just like I say, spiritually, when it comes to the creator and even different belief systems, that relationship that we have with ourself, our higher self,
Hmm.
and with the creator, that's your journey. Nobody can tell you
Right.
it's right or wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why we have so many different religions.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because someone is trying to tell someone else that no, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. And in all fairness, you could say that about us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the only difference I would point out to you is that, as I said in the beginning, we're just here to educate, enlighten, and then hopefully empower you. It is totally up to you whether you really believe what we say or not. But what we would challenge you to do is to do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
Is to do your own research. Because I can tell you in the Bible, Jesus, the person who many people treat like he is God,
Mm-hmm.
he said, and I'm not going to give you any Bible verses because you can go and look them up, but it's in the New Testament, and it's going to be in out of the Gospels, out of the four Gospels. But Jesus said that you can do as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, he said that. Now, if he's telling you that you can do the same things that he can do, because we're all connected, because we're all a part of the same consciousness. If he's telling you that, then that means that our focus should be on our spiritual being, because that is where all of our creativity, all of our thoughts, that is where our power is at. Our power is in our spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
If we understand that we are spiritual beings first, then we have no limits. But if
Exactly.
you if you look at it as, which is how people look at it, that we're nothing but physical beings, you have now taken away your power and imposed a limitation upon yourself.
Right. And with the example of Jesus, I do appreciate that example because he was one of just love, which is, he's one of the greatest examples that so many people love and don't actually follow a lot of times. But he was a master. He was definitely a master teacher. And he
Mm-hmm.
taught many how to meditate, how to pray. He sat amongst those who needed help. That's what he did. He sat amongst those who needed to understand or learn the ways of a master. And when he
Mm-hmm.
needed to recharge, what did he do? He would leave and go somewhere by himself and recharge himself for days on end and then return back. That's the same thing we're supposed to do. Meditate, pray, we help others. And then when we need to recharge, what do? We disconnect from people. But no, a lot of times we don't do that. What we do is we keep giving and giving of ourselves without us recharging. And then
Mm-hmm.
there it is, we fatigued and can't focus on something. You still have to have that balance of you can give to people, but you also have to focus on you because you're supposed
Exactly.
to charge yourself first. You have to, like we were talking the other day, and I said we're supposed to take care of us first
Mm-hmm.
because you can't give to other people what you don't have.
Right.
So take care of yourself first. Make sure that you're at the top of your list and that you're pouring into yourself. And that's a daily thing. People think that that's not a daily thing. It is a daily thing. It's a routine, or like some folks call a ritual. Ritual and routine
Mm-hmm.
is the same thing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
daily, constant pattern that you set for you to make sure that before you connect with this world, you're in alignment with you. And that's what actually helps you to move throughout your day better when you're ensuring that, okay, I want to make sure that at the beginning of the day, and I always tell people that I speak to and that I help, I tell them all the time, when you wake up in the morning, that's the first blank slate you got
Mm-hmm.
because you rested all night. So give to yourself in the morning, whether it is you take in anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Give yourself time to recuperate for you, to pour into you whatever it is that you need to do. Then
Hmm.
you give to the world and everybody else.
Yeah, but people don't. People are too caught up in
Hmm.
the physical things that have been created to distract you
Hmm.
from being plugged into your spirituality.
Right. Yeah. People are used to the routine of, oh, I got to take care of everyone else first, and then I'm last or depleted. And no, I teach them the other way around. No, you're at the top. Self preservation always first. Everybody else comes after you. It's just like
Hmm.
when we said yesterday, when you're on a plane and the plane you need the oxygen, what you gonna do? Put the oxygen on you first.
Right. That was yes. That was a great example that you gave, and that is well. That should be well received by everyone
Mm-hmm.
because you're right. If
Hmm.
if you're on a plane and it's going down and the oxygen mask drops, as you said, you got to put it on yourself first because if you try to put it on somebody else and you pass out, well, obviously it don't even matter what happens to the other person because you may not be around to even know anymore.
Hello. Self preservation first. And I think also you have to give yourself also grace and mercy in those stances where you putting yourself first, because that's a necessity. You can't help anyone.
Hmm.
I learned that throughout time, being a mother, when I used to was married previously, I always gave it to everybody else, and here it was, I'm tired. I'm letting myself go, and that was not the way. And it wasn't until, like I said, when I went through that perfect storm of my brother passing, looking at my mom's example and my first grandkid, and that was when I was in my late 30s when I became a grandmother.
Mm.
I was like, no, I got to change this. And I started that first with exercise. But then, when it came spiritually, it wasn't until I was in like 44 when I actually went through my awakening that I was just like, oh, oh yeah, I'm giving it to myself now, more so than ever. Mm-mm.
And yes, I mean everything that you've said is just a perfect example of why you need to take care of yourself first, and the fact that your recognition and self awareness is something that I love. I've been I've been awake. I would say for years,
Hmm.
or maybe I'm gonna say I was more semi awake,
Right.
semi awake. In that, my mind has always been open to the
Mm.
possibilities because I've always been taught to that there's no issue with questioning anything. You're supposed to question. One of my mentors, which was my Sunday school teacher, who
Mhm.
was a minister himself,
Mm.
told me that
Oh
never
wow.
accept what you are being told. Never accept that. You were created to be able to understand and discern what is right and what is wrong based upon what you think, and don't allow someone to give you their interpretation
Mhm.
and let that be your interpretation.
Right.
Because then what I came to realize as I got older was that
Mhm.
when we do that, and that is how we, I think, as a society operate, when we
Mhm.
do that, we remove any responsibility of the decisions that we make and the choices.
Right. Right.
When we are putting it on, well, this is what the Bible says, or this
Mhm.
is what the minister said, or this is what this person says.
Right.
But what are you saying? What do you think?
See, that's good that you had that experience. See, me, I most of my life, because I was raised in a very like strict religious home, it was always the people pleasing and things of that nature. But once I hit,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, when I hit 44, that was when I went through my awakening. And most people, a lot of people go through their awakenings, of course, through something traumatic. So I went through mine based off of when I was married, off of that. And I tell
Mm-hmm.
you, when that, it was like the someone turned on the lights for the first time. It was like, wait a minute. It was very interesting because I was like, huh, why had I been angry all these years? That's what it felt like to me in my own
Mm.
experience of what I
Mm-hmm.
went through. And it was after that that I sat with myself and said, I don't want to be in anger anymore, because I didn't even know why I was angry all them years. But then also,
Mm.
I went through the stance of, I don't want to please everybody. I don't want to do everything everybody else wants me to do. I don't want
Right.
to live like that. I was a people pleaser most of my life, always following what my mother wanted, my parents, family wanted. And it was at that point in my life where I was just like, no, I don't want to do, I don't want to do these things. So I had to, over time, you have to learn various methods of how to say no to
Mm-hmm.
people, even though you love them and you got a big heart. Because I always had a very big heart, always
Mm.
one that will overgive, over love, over fix, and I'm like, no, I got to give it back to me. You
Right.
I have to find me. And I think through those changes in my life of going through divorce and all of that, and then your kids, my kids are grown adults now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I got into a space where I'm okay with saying no to things that just are not in alignment with me. And like I told you the other day, I said, no, I only want what's in alignment. Anything that's not in alignment, it could go.
It can go exactly.
I like being in alignment with me because I know I'm being authentically my truest self.
Mm-hmm. And as you were talking, it caused me to reflect on something,
Hmm.
because what you said about being angry and not knowing why, and people pleasing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember I never was a people pleaser.
Hmm.
I did things because I wanted to do them.
Hmm.
And I'll never forget, I was in high school,
Hmm.
and I wanted to go. So I ended up going. So I'm from Greensboro, North
Hmm.
Carolina, and I wanted to move away. So I wanted to go to Hampton
Hmm.
University in Hampton, Virginia. That's where I wanted to go
Okay.
to college. That's where I wanted to go. But I ended up going to A&T because Hampton, although they did accept me,
Hmm.
they weren't going to give me a scholarship. And then I had to also be rational, because I wanted to major in engineering and electrical engineering. Well, they didn't have an engineering program at the time, or rather, it was not accredited. So I'd be taking a gamble
Right.
just to do that. But I never applied to A&T, actually.
Oh, wow.
Never applied. Yeah, it was like last minute. My mom knew somebody. But what a conversation that came up, though, was when I was discussing with my family, and this was my grandmother, my aunt, and they were, you know, They were more concerned that it would be embarrassing, right, if I didn't go to college
Mhm.
because of all the things I had done while growing up. I was growing up in the church, similar to
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
and the things that I had done, and they were telling me that there are people looking up to me, and so I have to do and walk a certain way, and this, and that.
Oh.
And my stance back then, when I'm 16, 17, is
Mhm.
no, I do what I want to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I do what I want to do. I'm not doing it for someone
Someone
else,
else, right?
and you're not going to project that onto me
Mhm.
either.
Mhm.
You're not going to make me be responsible
For
for
other people's happiness and stuff. Mhm.
exactly. If if you say I'm a role model and you say I'm an example, then
Mhm.
that's great. Just understand that you're going to get the good and the bad.
Right.
Everything is not always positive, and it's not always negative. You just have to, as the person receiving it, know what works for you and what does not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes growing up, parents will lay certain commands on children that or burdens that have nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
It really honestly doesn't. It's like the whole thing of you have to be an example for the next person. No, we don't have to. That's your stance of what you think I'm supposed to be. No, you're just
Mm-hmm.
supposed to live life, enjoy it, and people will watch. They naturally watch you. Listen, my
Right.
greatest examples I learned was from watching other people. I'm like, oh, I don't want that. I'm a watcher
Exactly.
of people. I love watching people because I'm like, humans are very interesting. And I look at some of the behaviors of people and I'm like, oh no, I won't be doing that. That's for sure. Humans, everything in life is trial and error. It
Yes.
really is. We're
Mm-hmm.
all, whether we want to believe it or not, or want to take accountability or responsibility for our lives, we all live by the same creed of trial and error. We're all
Mm-hmm.
learning. We all don't get it right. Most of us is winging it and trying to figure it out until we find that good flow. Like I said to you, I said, look, I worked in customer service in various different divisions or different industries all my adult life, not realizing this truly is where I'm meant to be, and
Mm-hmm.
not realizing I had perfected it over time because no matter how aggravating it was, I realized each cycle that I felt burnout, I would just
Mm-hmm.
reinvent myself again to get me to a stance to understand it. But I said it helped me to be the best communicator. I know
Mm.
how to communicate with people so well. And not just that, I understand people's emotions. From the
Mm-hmm.
time they come in on that phone with me in customer service, and I'm in human resources now in healthcare, I really am like, oh, this is quite interesting. Because humans are going to be humans. They are, but we're all learning in our own various ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you're doing that is a wrong thing. You just realize that, hey, that ain't for me, and you can change your life at any moment. Like I told you the other day, I said, people, when it comes to even their careers, it's up to you to decide where you want to be. If you don't like what you're doing, change it. Something you don't
Mm-hmm.
like about yourself, change it.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Tab? That is a great way to end this first episode. To If you are not satisfied with how things are in your life, you got the power to change it.
Mhm.
you have the power to change it because
Mhm.
nobody's coming to save you.
Nope.
It's all on you.
Mhm. Yep, just like in the Wizard of Oz in the end, what did the good witch Linda say? You had it in you all the time. You have it deep in you. It's up to you to go through those treasures of yourself and find all the gems that make you you. And don't try to be like anybody else. Be you. Authenticity is the second highest form of alchemy that you can do in this lifetime. No matter, like I always say, I've always been one of those people who I'm different. So I'm just like, I don't care. I like being this high vibrational, over loving, sometimes different soul. But the change is in you. You got it.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Tabitha Harris has given you the beginning of the blueprint. The beginning of the blueprint. Thank you for joining us on our first episode, The Alchemy of Us, hosted by Tabitha Harris and myself, Osric Baum. We're going to be coming to you every week on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout as our show page will be coming up soon. But for right now, on our first episode, that was very powerful. Tabitha, what do you have to leave with the people? I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys this much. I send you guys with nothing but love and light and healing. And always remember that you truly have it in you to live the most meaningful life that you want. Everything is within you. You are amazing in every way. You're unstoppable, and never allow anyone to change anything about you. But remember, you are the magic.
It's the alchemy of us. Until next week.
Bye, y'all.